Do you struggle with getting started on the things you want to do? Maybe it's getting started on a routine or on chores or on work. Well, today I'm going to show you how I fixed that for myself. But before I do, if we haven't met yet, my name is Isabel, and on this channel we talk all about embracing your weird in order to build a better business, brand, and life. And if you're anything like me, getting or switching from one task or area to another, that transition period, feels daunting. Neurodivergent humans tend to have a hard time during transition periods, or we fall into what I like to call freeze mode, where you kind of sit on the couch and stare at space forever. And it's hard to get out of. It really is. While there are some tips and tricks in general out there on the internet on how to get out of freeze mode, like counting down from 10 to 0 and then just getting up and starting, the reality is that for most of us, these tricks only work some of the time. And we can't spend all day counting from 10 to 0 for it to only work 30% of the time. So what do we do instead? We bookend. Bookending is a technique where you structure out specific moments in your day to make it easier to start and end periods or tasks. It can help with transition periods because you have a set list of things to do when ending a period or before starting the next period. This removes the overthinking piece, and it conditions your brain to get out of the mode it was in and into the next. So bookending can improve your focus, it can reduce friction in transitions, and it can give neurodivergent brains that much needed structure to jump into the uncertain and ever-changing parts of our lives, thereby kind of calming or regulating our nervous system before jumping into that task. So how do we start using bookends? First, you'd have to pick a period that you want to bookend. So let's say it's starting your workday. You'd then decide what are the tasks that are easy that I can do every single time that will help my brain get into the mindset of work. Now, this might be sitting down at your desk, making a cup of coffee, lighting a candle, pulling out your to-do list. The what in itself doesn't really matter. As long as it's, first of all, easy, and I said this, it has to be easy tasks so that your brain doesn't resist them. If you want to start washing dishes and you have all your dishes piled up in the sink, telling your brain go wash the dishes doesn't work. Telling your brain go stand in front of the sink, oh, yeah, I can do that. I can stand in front of the sink. Second thing, it has to be tiny. Again, this is so that your brain doesn't resist it. A small task. So even like, how about you just wash all of the plates? No cups, no utensils, nothing, just plates. It might still be too big. Go stand in front of the sink is tiny. And the third thing is that it has to be repeatable. For bookending to work, these have to be tasks that you do every single time before and after that period. And so standing in front of the sink is something you have to do in order to wash the dishes, right? There's no other way to, unless you have a dishwasher, but if you're hand washing dishes, there's no other way to do it. You have to stand in front of the sink. So that is a repeatable task. It is a tiny task and it is an easy task, which means that it'll be great to add as a starting bookend for something like dishes. So for work, what could that be? Like I said, it could be pulling out your to-do list. It could be sitting down at your desk. It could be turning on your laptop. There's a million different things, and depending on what your work actually is, like if you're a painter, it might not be opening your laptop, right? Find the tasks that are easy, tiny, and repeatable. That's the thing. Then, for the end of your workday, you would do the same thing. So you might, at the end of your workday, say, okay, I'm gonna decide my top 3 tasks for the next day. I'm gonna put away my laptop. I'm gonna put away my pens. I'm gonna blow out that candle that I lit in the morning. I'm gonna close my email. I'm gonna stretch. Again, the what doesn't matter as long as it's tiny, easy, and repeatable. Now, if you're enjoying this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps this channel grow, and I do make new content every Friday. Also, let me know in the comments if you try bookending your days or bookending a period of your life and how it worked for you. I'm always looking for new ideas on where I can add bookends in my own life. I use bookends for everything. It allows my brain to seamlessly glide from one area of my life to the next instead of overthinking all of the steps or getting stuck in that freeze mode that I talked about earlier. So what are my bookends? I have bookends like daily bookends, weekly bookends, monthly bookends. For my full day, daily bookends, I have my morning routine and my night routine. That bookends the beginning and the end of my day. For my work day, my morning routine is my first bookend for my starting my work day. And then my midday routine, so like my lunch break, walking the dogs, all of that, will be the end of that bookend and the start of the bookend. It'll be the starting bookend for my afternoon work. But I have an end of day routine for work. It's not my night routine because I don't work until nighttime, right? So I have an end of the day routine to close out my workday. I also have weekly bookends. So for my work week, at the beginning of the week, I do my weekly planning. At the end of the week, I do a weekly review. And so that closes out my work week. I don't have any on weekends specifically because I try to make weekends my least scheduled time during the week and just kind of do whatever I feel like doing. But I do have monthly bookends, again, monthly planning, monthly review, quarterly bookends, quarterly planning, quarterly review, yearly bookends, yearly planning, yearly review. But I also have bookends for things that might not happen that consistently, but still are things I do multiple times during the year. So for example, I do mini meal preps most weeks, and I have a bookend for starting that and ending that. And so the start of that is picking what are like the 3 or 4 things that I'm gonna do, taking out the ingredients, that kind of thing. The end of that bookend is putting everything away, washing the dishes, because that's what I do. I have one for my bigger monthly meal prep, right? I have one for my weekly review. I have one for, I do these things called self-care days. I do these things called creativity days, and I have bookends for how to start and end those. I have reset days. And again, I have tasks to start and end those. Usually my reset days start with a brain dump of all the things that are in my head and I feel like I need to do and I haven't done yet. There's also some that I haven't implemented yet, but I know that if I did, it would help significantly. So exercise. I have a hard time exercising consistently. And I know that if I created a bookend for exercising sessions, that would help a lot, right? For learning sessions or for personal development sessions, those are something that I've also been trying to figure out. How can I bookend my learning sessions? Because that will help me sit down and get through more of the things that I've been meaning to learn, courses and things that I have. But at the end of the day, any bookend that I've implemented, I've seen a great result from, because it helps me transition from one thing to the next, and it helps my brain stay out of that freeze mode. Bookending is probably one of those techniques that are like not talked about as much online, but it really changed everything for me. So there you have it. If you'd like me to create another video kind of specifying and going into the details of the bookends that I do have, let me know in the comments below. Also, please remember to subscribe. And until then, stay weird, stay wild, and stay whimsical. And see you soon.